You were never born poor. You were born pure. The scarcity you feel is not yours. It's an echo from those who came before you. But tonight, that echo ends. As you sleep, we will travel into the roots of your subconscious, where ancient codes of limitation still whisper in your blood. Together we will rewrite them, not with effort, but with awareness. This is your rebirth. This is where the old story ends and the new begins. You are the first in your bloodline to dream wealth awake. Chapter 1. The Shadow of Inheritance. There is a river that runs through your family line. You cannot see it with your eyes, yet you have felt its current all your life, pulling you backward when you try to move forward, whispering that safety lives in smallness, that wanting more is dangerous. This river does not flow with water, it flows with memory. Your great-grandmother stood at the edge of a field she would never own, hands raw from labor that would never lift her from poverty's grip. She made a silent prayer that night, a prayer that became a curse. Let my children want nothing so they will never know this pain. That prayer sank into her bones, traveled through her blood, and found its way into yours. This is not metaphor, this is mechanism. Science now confirms what mystics have whispered for millennia, that trauma, fear, and survival patterns encode themselves into the very structure of our DNA. Epigenetics reveals that the experiences of your ancestors literally alter gene expression, creating biological predispositions toward anxiety, scarcity thinking, and self-limitation. The grandmother who survived famine passes down not just stories but cellular instructions. Hoard, hide, never trust abundance. But there is something deeper still, something that moves beneath the reach of microscopes and genetic sequencing. There exists an inheritance written in the substance of consciousness itself. Contracts signed in desperation, vows made in suffering, beliefs crystallized in the crucible of survival. Imagine now a vast underground cathedral, its walls carved from obsidian, its floor a mirror of black water. This is the ancestral vault, the place where all inherited patterns reside. Here, suspended in the darkness, like stars in a lightless sky, hang the threads of every limitation ever accepted by those who came before you. One thread glows with your father's resignation, the job he hated but never left, the dream he buried alive. Another pulses with your mother's quiet terror of visibility, her certainty that to be seen was to be hurt. A third, older thread hums with the frequency of your grandfather's shame, the business failure that taught him wealth was for other people, people with something he lacked. These threads do not merely exist in some distant past. They are active, alive, broadcasting their signal through time itself. Your nervous system receives their transmission. Your thoughts arrange themselves around their frequency. Your decisions unconsciously align with their ancient logic. You have been living downstream from a dam you did not build. And the cruelest part? You believed it was yours. The fear of success that makes your heart race when opportunity arrives. The self-sabotage that destroys what you build just as it begins to flourish. The voice that says, people like us don't. You thought these were your authentic truths, your natural limitations, your personal failings. They are none of these things. They are echoes, reverberations, the ghosts of choices made by people who loved you enough to survive, but who had no way to imagine that survival was not the only option. Consider the contract written in your great-grandfather's desperation. I will accept less so my children will be grateful for anything. Consider the vow made by a mother 3 generations back. I will teach my daughters to want nothing so the world cannot break their hearts. Consider the belief that calcified in the mind of an ancestor who lost everything. Wealth is dangerous. Safety lives in invisibility. These contracts still run in your subconscious like code in a machine. They dictate your ceiling, your comfort zone, your sense of what is possible. They are the invisible hand that pulls back just as you reach for more. But here is the revelation that changes everything. You did not sign these contracts. You inherited them, and what is inherited can be released. What was encoded can be rewritten. The river that flows through your family line, you can change its course. This is not about blame. Your ancestors did the best they could with the consciousness available to them. They survived so you could exist. Honor that. But do not be enslaved by it. The shadow of inheritance is not your fate. It is your starting point. The place where you stand, looking backward at the chain of limitation, is also the place where you can choose to become the one who breaks it. You are not here by accident. You are here because some part of you already knows. The pattern ends with you. The scarcity stops here. The inheritance of fear transforms in this moment into the inheritance of freedom. The river can be redirected. The contracts can be voided. The threads in the ancestral vault can be cut. But first, you must see them clearly. Chapter 2: The Hidden Architecture of the Mind. There was a time when you were infinite, before language, before labels, before the world told you what was possible and what was not. There was a version of you that existed in pure potential, a mind like wet clay, shapeless and sacred, waiting to be molded. This is not poetry, this is neuroscience. Between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain operates primarily in theta brainwave state, the same frequency experienced during hypnosis and deep meditation. In this state, the conscious mind, with its filters and critical thinking, is largely offline. Instead, the subconscious mind stands wide open, absorbing everything like a sponge dropped in an ocean. Every statement from your parents, every reaction to your needs, every scene of financial stress witnessed from the top of the stairs while adults argued in the kitchen, every time you asked for something and saw fear flash across your mother's face, every time your father said, "We can't afford that," in a tone that carried shame like a scent. Your young mind, existing in that hypnotic theta state, recorded all of it as truth, not as opinion, not as perspective, as fundamental law about how reality works. Imagine a great architect entering an empty plane, carrying blueprints for a city. Every line drawn becomes a street, every mark becomes a building, every notation becomes infrastructure that will shape traffic flow, human movement, possibility itself for generations. This is what happened in your mind between ages 0 and 7. The architect was your environment. The blueprints were the beliefs of everyone around you, and the city that was built, the neural pathways, the synaptic connections, the subconscious programming became the invisible architecture through which you would navigate all of life. If you watched your parents live in perpetual financial anxiety, your subconscious received the blueprint. Money is scarce and life is dangerous. If you heard that money doesn't grow on trees, or we're not made of money, or the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, your young mind encoded, abundance is not for me, limitation is the law. If you were praised for being quiet and not asking for too much, your subconscious concluded, my needs are a burden. Smallness equals love. Wanting equals rejection. These beliefs did not install themselves as conscious thoughts you could easily examine. They laid down as pre-verbal, pre-logical foundations, the underground architecture of your psyche. They became the lens through which you perceive opportunity, the filter through which you make decisions, the invisible hand that guides you away from expansion and toward familiar limitation. Dr. Bruce Lipton, cellular biologist and pioneer of epigenetics, discovered that our subconscious programming runs our lives approximately 95% of the time. 95%, your conscious desires, your goals, your vision boards, and affirmations. These occupy maybe 5% of your mental processing. The other 95% is governed by the programs installed before you could even spell your own name. This is why you can consciously want wealth while unconsciously sabotaging every path toward it. Why you can affirm abundance while feeling terror in your gut when money actually arrives. Why you can work yourself to exhaustion yet never seem to break through an invisible ceiling that you cannot name but can always feel. Close your eyes now and envision this. You are standing in the central chamber of your own mind. It is vast, cathedral-like, built from neural pathways that hum with electrical light. Some corridors are wide and well-traveled. These are your habitual patterns, your default settings, your automated responses. Other hallways are narrow, dark, barely used. These are the possibilities you have not yet explored, the beliefs you have not yet embodied. Along the walls of this cathedral, carved in neural pathways like ancient scripture, are the programs. There is never enough. I must work harder than everyone else to deserve less. Wealth is for other people. If I succeed, I will lose love. Safety lives in invisibility. These inscriptions glow faintly in the darkness. They are not stone, they are electricity and chemistry, neurons and synapses, firing in patterns so practiced they feel like truth itself. But here is what changes everything: neuroplasticity, the brain's magnificent capacity to rewire, to carve new pathways, to overwrite old programming with new code. The clay that was shaped in childhood is not concrete. It remains clay, and you now are the sculptor. The hidden architecture of your mind is not a prison. It is a building you inherited, yes, but buildings can be renovated, walls can be moved, foundations can be reinforced, new corridors can be carved where there were none before. The first step is not changing the architecture. The first step is seeing it clearly, walking through the cathedral of your own subconscious, with a torch held high, reading the inscriptions, tracing the pathways, understanding with compassion and precision. This is what was built. This is why I have behaved as I have. This is the invisible structure that has been running my life. You were programmed, but you are not the program. You were shaped, but you are also the shaper. The child's mind was soft clay. The adult's mind is the hand that now holds it. And the work of transformation begins with a single radical act, seeing the blueprint for what it is. Not truth, not fate, just old architecture waiting to be redesigned. Chapter 3. The Voice Beneath the Voice. There is a conversation happening in your mind right now. Not the one you are aware of, the conscious stream of planning and processing. Beneath that, deeper in a frequency your waking mind almost never hears clearly, another voice speaks. It whispers while you sleep. It narrates while you dream. It comments on every risk you consider, every ambition you entertain, every moment you reach beyond the familiar. This voice knows things you have forgotten. It remembers contracts your conscious mind never signed. It carries messages from people who lived and died before you drew your first breath. In certain tribal traditions, they say, each person carries not one voice, but a council. Ancestors who sit in the inner chambers of the psyche, offering guidance or warning, blessing or curse. Modern psychology calls this the superego, the inner critic, the shadow self. But these clinical terms do not capture the felt experience of it, the sense that something ancient is speaking, through you, deciding for you, protecting you from dangers that no longer exist. Listen now to this story. There was once a traveler who could not understand why every opportunity that arrived in her life was met with immediate, crushing anxiety. Promotions at work filled her with dread. Invitations to be seen, to speak, to lead, all triggered a terror so primal she would sabotage the opportunity before it could develop. Consciously, she wanted success. Unconsciously, something deeper was vetoing every attempt. One night, exhausted from another cycle of self-destruction, she fell into a dream. In the dream, she walked through a forest at twilight. The trees were ancient, their bark carved with symbols she could not read but somehow understood. As she walked deeper, she heard voices, not threatening, not harsh, but insistent, layered, overlapping. A chorus of whispers that grew louder the further she went. She came to a clearing where firelight flickered. Around the fire sat figures cloaked in shadow. As she approached, their faces became clear. Her grandmother, stern-faced and exhausted. Her great-aunt, whose eyes held a lifetime of resignation. A woman she did not recognize but knew was from generations even further back. "Why are you here?" her grandmother asked, but not unkindly. "I want to succeed," the traveler said. "I want to break free." The figures around the fire exchanged glances. Her great-aunt spoke. "We stayed small so we would not be hurt. We wanted nothing so nothing could be taken. We taught your mother this. She taught you. This is how we survived." The traveler felt tears on her face. "But I do not want to merely survive. I want to live." The oldest woman, the one from generations back, leaned forward. Her voice was like wind through ancient stone. "Then you must do what we could not. But know this, if you rise alone. You leave us behind. Can you bear that?" And the traveler understood. The voice beneath the voice was not enemy. It was guardian. It was the accumulated wisdom of women who learned that visibility meant danger, that wanting meant suffering, that the tall tree gets cut down first. They were not trying to sabotage her. They were trying to save her from a world that had been cruel to them. She woke from the dream with a clarity she had never known. The inner voice that had been sabotaging her success was not hers. It was ancestral protection, outdated but sincere, a safety protocol written for a world that no longer existed. This is the revelation. The voice beneath the voice is not a monster to be slain. It is a frightened guardian to be thanked, honored, and then gently released from duty. Right now, close your eyes and turn your attention inward, not to your thoughts. Deeper, to the feeling tone beneath the thoughts, to the commentary that runs like ticker tape across the bottom of your awareness. What does it say when you consider earning more money than your parents ever did? What does it whisper when you imagine being visible, successful, free? What warning does it issue when you contemplate breaking the family pattern? Listen carefully. Do not judge what you hear. Simply witness it. You might hear, "Who do you think you are?" This is dangerous. People like us don't do that. If you succeed, you will be alone. You will lose your family's love. These are not your truths. They are echoes, reverberations from ancestors who lived in different times, under different threats, with different levels of consciousness. The inner critic that tells you to play small is not your enemy. It is an outdated security system, still running a protocol designed for a world where scarcity was real and visibility was dangerous. It has been trying to keep you safe using the only strategy it knows, limitation. But you can speak to it now. You can thank it for its service. You can say, "I honor the fear that kept my ancestors alive. I honor the caution that protected them, but I am not in the same danger. The world they navigated is not the world I inhabit. I release you from this duty with gratitude. Your work is done." This is not spiritual bypassing. This is not pretending the programming does not exist. This is the deepest form of integration, recognizing the voice beneath the voice, understanding its origin, honoring its intention, and then choosing, consciously, to write new code. The ancestors at the fire are not angry when you choose to rise. They are relieved. They have been waiting for the one who would finally have the courage and consciousness to break the pattern. Not with rejection, not with shame, but with love and clear-eyed recognition. You are that one. The voice beneath the voice has spoken for generations. Now it is time for your voice, the voice of conscious choice, of liberated will, to speak louder. Chapter 4. The Poverty Entity. There are forces in this world that feed on limitation, not metaphorical forces. Actual energetic patterns that exist as quasi-sentient fields, sustained by collective belief and individual compliance. Ancient wisdom traditions called them egregores, thought forms given life by sustained attention and emotional energy. Modern psychology calls them complexes, archetypal patterns in the collective unconscious. Call it what you will. The experience is the same. There is something that wants you poor, something that grows stronger each time you accept less than you deserve, each time you sabotage your expansion, each time you choose familiar suffering over unknown abundance. Tonight, you will meet it face to face. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Let your awareness sink beneath the surface of ordinary consciousness, down into the realm where symbols walk and archetypes speak. You are entering the mythic dimension of your own psyche, where inner realities take visible form. You find yourself standing in a vast, empty plain beneath a starless sky. The ground beneath your feet is cracked and dry, stretching endlessly in all directions. There is a heaviness here, a weight in the air that makes breathing difficult. In the distance, you see a figure approaching. As it draws near, you see it clearly, a creature both ancient and familiar. Its body is hunched and wrapped in rags that might once have been clothing, but now look like layers of accumulated dust and time. Its eyes are hollow, not cruel, but empty, the emptiness of resignation, of dreams abandoned, of possibilities never pursued. This is the poverty entity, the living embodiment of scarcity consciousness, the accumulated weight of every I can't, every it's not possible, every people like me don't deserve, ever spoken by you and your lineage. It does not attack you, it does not need to, it simply exists, and its existence is a gravitational field that pulls everything toward smallness, contraction, fear. It speaks, and its voice is 1,000 voices layered. Your inner critic, your mother's worry, your father's resignation, your grandmother's terror, whispers from ancestors whose names you have never known. Why do you resist me? It asks. I am your comfort. I am your safety. In limitation, there is no risk. In smallness, there is no failure. I have kept you alive. I have protected you from the pain of disappointment. Stay with me. Stay small. Stay safe. And you feel the pull of it, the seductive logic of limitation, the way poverty consciousness masquerades as humility, as realism, as protection from the cruelty of hope. But then you remember something. You remember the truth beneath the lie. You speak, and your voice is steadier than you expected. You are not my protector. You are my prison. You were created from fear, sustained by compliance, and given power by my belief. But I am not my ancestors. I am not bound by their limitations. I am not required to carry their burdens. The entity does not rage. It simply watches with those hollow eyes, waiting. You continue. I honor the fear that created you. I understand why you exist. But your purpose has expired. The world that required your protection no longer exists, or if it does, I am no longer helpless within it. I have capacities my ancestors could not imagine. I have resources they never possessed. I live in a field of possibility they could not have dreamed. Something shifts in the air. The weight begins to lighten. I am not my past, you say, and the words feel like ancient magic, like an incantation that rewrites reality itself. I am not my lineage's limitations. I am not the sum of inherited fears. I am infinite possibility dressed in temporary form. I am consciousness itself, capable of creating new patterns, new realities, new frequencies of existence. The entity begins to dissolve, not violently, gently, like morning mist touched by sun. As it fades, you see what it truly was. Not a monster, but a mass of accumulated belief. Not an enemy, but an outdated program running on autopilot. Not a demon, but a frightened child's attempt at self-protection, crystallized and given form over generations. As the last traces of it disappear into the cracked ground, something extraordinary happens. Where the entity stood, the earth begins to shift. Cracks seal themselves. Dry soil turns dark and rich. Small green shoots push through the surface, growing rapidly, not just plants but possibilities. Every sprout is a path not taken, a dream deferred, an opportunity that was sabotaged before it could blossom. The starless sky above suddenly floods with light, not sunlight, something more. Pure potential, pure possibility, the infinite field of all that could be, waiting for your permission to manifest. You stand in this transformed landscape and feel it, the absence of the old weight, the presence of new freedom, the understanding that what you just experienced was not mere visualization, but actual energetic surgery. A pattern was broken, a frequency was shifted. The poverty entity that fed on your limitation starved in the presence of your clarity. This is not the end of the work. The entity or entities like it may attempt to reform. Old patterns have momentum, but you now know something that cannot be unknown. It is not real. It has no power except what you give it, and you can withdraw that power at will. You open your eyes, returning to ordinary consciousness, but you are not the same. Something has been faced. Something has been released. The gravitational field of scarcity that has shaped your life for so long has weakened, and in that weakness, you find your strength. You are not your past. You are not your lineage's limitations. You are not the poverty entity's prey. You are infinite possibility, and you are just beginning to remember what that means. Chapter 5. The Ritual of Recognition. You stand now at a threshold. Behind you stretches the long corridor of inherited limitation, the shadow of inheritance, the hidden architecture, the voice beneath the voice, the entity of poverty consciousness. You have seen it all clearly. You have faced what needed to be faced, but awareness alone does not free you. Recognition is not yet release. To cross this threshold, to move from understanding into embodiment, requires something more primal, more ceremonial, more absolute. It requires ritual. Ritual is the language the subconscious understands most fluently. Words reach the thinking mind, but symbols, actions, ceremony, these reach deeper into the place where change actually occurs. Indigenous cultures knew this. Mystery schools knew this. Your ancestors knew this, even as they used ritual to encode the very limitations you now seek to release. Tonight, you will perform your own ceremony, not in some distant temple, not with elaborate tools or witnesses. Here, now, in the cathedral of your own consciousness, you will enact the ritual of recognition, the moment where you formally, energetically, irrevocably release what no longer serves. Begin by creating sacred space within yourself. Sit comfortably, spine straight, hands open in your lap. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, each one slower than the last. With each exhale, feel yourself dropping beneath the surface of your daily mind, down into the ceremonial chamber within. See it now, a vast circular room lit by flickering torchlight. The walls are carved with the history of your lineage, scenes of struggle and survival, hardship and endurance. This is the ancestral temple, the place where the contracts were written, where the vows were made, where the patterns were set in motion. In the center of the room stands an altar made of ancient stone. On this altar rest symbols of everything you have inherited that keeps you bound. A chain for obligation, a stone for burden, a mask for the false self you have worn, a contract written in faded ink bearing signatures you never made. You approach the altar slowly, feeling the weight of all these symbols. Each one represents something specific. The belief that you must suffer to be worthy, the conviction that wealth is dangerous, the certainty that your needs are too much, the terror that success will cost you love. Stand before the altar and speak these words aloud, letting them echo through the ceremonial chamber of your consciousness. I recognize these burdens. I acknowledge these patterns. I honor that they were carried by those who came before me, adopted in times of survival, maintained through generations of fear. I see clearly now. They were never mine. They were never truth. They were circumstance mistaken for fate, trauma mistaken for identity, survival strategy mistaken for essential self. As you speak, feel the truth of it landing in your body, not just in your mind, in your cells, your bones, your blood. This is recognition at the deepest level. Now, place your hands above the altar, palms facing down. Imagine that golden light begins to pour from your palms, illuminating each symbol. As the light touches them, they begin to transform. The chain turns to dust and blows away. The stone cracks open, revealing a seed inside. The mask dissolves, and where it was, you see your own true face reflected back, clear-eyed and free. The contract's ink fades until the paper is blank, ready for new writing. Speak again. I release these patterns with gratitude for what they taught me, with compassion for those who carried them, and with fierce commitment to ending their transmission. The inheritance of scarcity stops here. The legacy of fear transforms here. I am the one who breaks the chain, not through violence, but through consciousness. Feel it now, a shift in your energy body. It might be subtle or dramatic. You might feel lightness, tingling, emotion rising to be released. Let it move. Let it flow. This is energetic surgery. This is the actual moment of liberation, happening in real time across all dimensions of your being. The ancestral temple around you begins to transform. The scenes of struggle carved into the walls start to fade, replaced by new images, visions of possibility, symbols of abundance, glyphs of freedom you are just beginning to understand. The torches burn brighter, and their light is no longer flickering but steady, strong, clear. From the shadows at the edges of the room, figures begin to emerge. Your ancestors, but transformed, no longer burdened, no longer afraid. They approach with tears of relief in their eyes, with gratitude written across their faces. They have been waiting for this moment, waiting for the one who would finally have the consciousness and courage to end the pattern. Your grandmother steps forward, and though she may have died decades before, here she is whole and radiant. She speaks, thank you for doing what we could not. Thank you for freeing not just yourself, but all of us. The pattern ends here, and in ending, it heals backward through time, releasing us all. One by one they approach. They embrace you. They bless you. They transfer to you now not their limitations, but their strength, the courage that allowed them to survive, the love that motivated every choice, the resilience that ensured you would exist. You receive this blessing. You feel it settle into your body like gold pouring into a mold, filling all the spaces where scarcity once lived with something entirely different. Worthiness, possibility, abundance consciousness, unshakable self-recognition. The ritual is nearly complete, but one final gesture remains. You turn from the altar and walk toward the far wall of the temple. There, carved into the stone, is a door you have never seen before. It is sealed shut, but now as you approach, it begins to open. beyond it, you see light, not the flickering torchlight of the ceremonial chamber, but brilliant, natural light. Sunlight, the light of a new day, a new paradigm, a new frequency of existence. You step through the doorway. As you do, you feel the ancestral temple remain behind you, not destroyed, but complete, its purpose fulfilled. A place of honor, but no longer a place of residence. You emerge into a landscape you have never seen but somehow recognize. Your life, but without the old limitations. Your path, but cleared of ancient obstacles. Your potential, no longer capped by inherited ceilings. Take 3 deep breaths here. Let this new territory imprint itself on your consciousness. You are not imagining a fantasy. You are establishing a new frequency, a new baseline, a new operating system for your life. When you are ready, open your eyes. You have completed the ritual of recognition. Something has shifted. You may not be able to articulate exactly what, but your body knows. Your subconscious knows. The field of energy around you knows. The pattern has been broken. The contract has been voided. The entity has been dissolved. The inheritance has been transformed. You are no longer a prisoner of the past. You are no longer defined by ancestral limitation. You are no longer running programs written by fear. You are the first free one in your lineage, the first to stand in full possibility, the first to embody this truth. I am not my past. I am infinite possibility, and this is not the end. This is the beginning. This is Act 1 complete. The descent into the ancestral mind has revealed the roots of scarcity. You have seen them, understood them, honored them, and released them. Now the real work begins. The work of rebuilding, the work of creation, the work of embodying a new frequency. But that is for the next act. For now, rest in this recognition. You did what needed to be done. You faced what needed to be faced. You freed what was waiting to be freed. The roots of scarcity have been exposed and transformed. And from this transformed ground, something entirely new can grow. Chapter 6. The Mirror of the Ancestors. You have descended into the roots of scarcity. You have faced the entity. You have performed the ritual of recognition. But recognition alone is not transformation. To truly rewrite the code, to shift the frequency at the deepest level, you must now turn toward what many spend lifetimes avoiding: the faces of those who came before you. Not to blame them, not to judge them, but to see them, truly see them as they were. Human, afraid, doing their best with the consciousness available to them. And in that seeing, to offer what was never offered to them. Witnessing, compassion, release. Close your eyes now. Breathe deeply 3 times, each breath slower and more intentional than the last. Feel yourself sinking once again beneath the surface of ordinary awareness, down into the ceremonial realm where healing happens not through logic, but through direct experience. You find yourself standing in a long, ancient hallway. The walls on both sides are not made of stone or wood, but of mirrors, hundreds of them, stretching endlessly in both directions. Each mirror is ornately framed, and each reflects not your current face, but something else, someone else. As you walk slowly down this hallway, you begin to see them clearly. These are not ordinary mirrors. They are windows into time itself, portals into the lives of every person whose blood runs in your veins, whose choices shaped the circumstances into which you were born, whose unspoken beliefs became your subconscious programming. You stop before the first mirror. In it, you see your mother as she was before you were born, young, full of dreams she has never spoken aloud, standing at a crossroads she will not take. You see the moment she chose safety over risk, stability over passion. You see her reasons, the fear inherited from her own mother, the trauma of watching her parents struggle, the belief that wanting more was selfish. As you watch, something extraordinary happens. She turns and looks directly at you through the mirror. Her eyes meet yours across time, and in that moment, a transmission occurs. You feel her pain, her resignation, her love for you that was expressed through limitation because limitation was all she knew as protection. And then you speak, your voice somehow reaching through the mirror into the past. I see you. I see what you carried. I see what you sacrificed. I see why you chose what you chose. And I release you from the burden of protecting me through limitation. You did your best. You loved me the only way you knew. And now I take the next step, not away from you, but forward for both of us. As the words leave your lips, her face transforms. The weight lifts from her shoulders. Her eyes brighten. She smiles, not the resigned smile you have known all your life, but a smile of genuine relief, of freedom. The mirror glows, and in that glow you see her younger self making a different choice, taking the risk, following the dream. This is not changing history. This is healing the energetic charge of history, collapsing the timeline where that choice still echoes through your own life as limitation. You move to the next mirror. Your father appears and the cycle repeats. You see the moment he gave up on his business, the moment he accepted a job he hated, the moment he decided his dreams were impractical and survival was enough. You witness, you acknowledge. You release him from the contract to teach you limitation through his own suffering. The mirror glows. He transforms. The timeline shifts. Further down the hallway, your grandmother stands in her mirror, young, fierce, carrying a rage at the world's injustice that she never expressed, only swallowed and passed down as bitter resignation. You see her. You honor her strength. You free her from the need to armor you with cynicism. She weeps in the mirror. The tears are not sadness. They are relief. The mirror glows. Your grandfather appears, the one who lost everything in the Depression and never trusted prosperity again. His mirror shows the moment the bank took his farm, the moment his heart closed against hope, the moment he vowed that his children would never feel such pain because they would never reach high enough to fall. You place your hand on the surface of the mirror. The glass is warm. I will not forget what you lost, you say, but I will not let your loss define my possibility. I break this vow not in disrespect, but in evolution. I can hold a different truth than you could, and in holding it, I heal what you could not. The mirror glows. The timeline shifts. In the reflection, you see him standing tall again, his farm restored not in the physical world, but in the realm of emotional resolution. He nods to you. Permission granted, blessing given. You continue down the hallway, and the mirrors go back further. Great-grandparents you never met, ancestors whose names you do not know. Each mirror shows a moment of limitation accepted, a moment of possibility rejected, a moment of fear chosen over faith. And at each mirror, you stop. You witness, you acknowledge, you release. With each release, the mirrors begin to change. The reflections transform from scenes of limitation to scenes of potential realized. You are not changing what happened. You are healing the energetic residue of what happened. You are telling the past, your pain does not need to become my prison. Your choices do not need to dictate mine. Your limitations do not define my capacity. And as you move through the hallway, something miraculous occurs. The mirrors begin to show not just the healed past, but the transformed present. In each reflection, you see yourself, but different, yourself making choices your ancestors could not make, yourself embodying possibilities they could not imagine, yourself standing in abundance they could not access. Each mirror reflects a version of you that is freed from one specific ancestral limitation. One shows you receiving money without shame. Another shows you being visible without fear. Another shows you resting without guilt. Another shows you wanting without apologizing. These are not fantasies, these are potentials, activated by the healing work you just performed, by witnessing your ancestors with compassion, by releasing them from their unconscious contracts with you. You have collapsed the timelines where their limitations continued to run through your nervous system as truth. You reach the end of the hallway. One final mirror remains, larger than all the others. In this mirror, you see not the past, but the future. You see yourself 7 generations forward, healed, whole, free, abundant. And standing beside that future self are children you may or may not have, descendants who will never know the scarcity that haunted your lineage because you were the one who ended it. They look at you across time with gratitude. The pattern stopped here. The healing began here. The transformation started here with you in this moment, in this hallway of mirrors, performing the sacred work of ancestral reconciliation. You place both hands on this final mirror. As you do, all the mirrors in the hallway begin to glow simultaneously. The light builds, intensifies, becomes almost blinding, and then, in a flash, the mirrors dissolve. The hallway opens into infinite space. You are standing in pure potentiality, no longer bound by the reflections of the past, no longer defined by inherited limitation. You are free, and in your freedom, you have freed them all. Open your eyes slowly. The work is done. The ancestors have been witnessed, honored, and released. And you have been released in return. Chapter 7. The Forgiveness Frequency. There is a sound that exists beneath all other sounds. Science calls it the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth itself, pulsing at approximately 7.83 Hertz. Ancient mystics called it the hum of the universe, the original Om, the vibration that holds all creation in coherent form. But there is another frequency, one that exists not in physics but in consciousness. It is the frequency of forgiveness. And when you attune to it, when you allow it to move through every cell of your being, it dissolves density, transmutes pain, and rewrites the code of your emotional DNA. You cannot reach this frequency through effort. You cannot force your way into forgiveness. It must be invited, welcomed, allowed to rise naturally from the deepest part of you, the part that knows it is safe now, that the danger has passed, that the old stories can finally be released. Sit comfortably now, spine straight but not rigid, hands resting openly in your lap. Close your eyes. Begin to breathe, not your normal breath, but a conscious breath. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6. Hold empty for 2. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out, 2 empty. Again, let the rhythm establish itself. Let your body begin to entrain to this pattern. This is not just breathing. This is preparation. You are tuning your instrument, readying yourself to receive a transmission. As you breathe, place your awareness in the center of your chest, not your physical heart, but the space behind it, the energetic heart, the place where emotional memory is stored, where pain accumulates, where shame crystallizes into density. Feel it there now, the heaviness, the contraction, the old grief of never being enough, never having enough, always falling short. This is not your grief alone. This is ancestral grief, collective grief, the accumulated suffering of a lineage that learned to equate limitation with love, scarcity with safety, smallness with survival. Breathe into it, not to push it away, but to acknowledge it, to say, I see you, I feel you, you have lived here for so long. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out, 2 empty. Now begin to speak internally, silently, a word on each exhale. The word is simple, but its power is absolute. The word is forgive. Breathe in, hold. Exhale, forgive. hold empty. But what are you forgiving? Start with the most difficult, the most intimate, the most necessary. Breathe in, hold, exhale. I forgive myself. Hold empty. For believing the lie of unworthiness, for accepting limitation as truth, for sabotaging my expansion, for staying small when I was built for vastness, for apologizing for my existence, for carrying burdens that were never mine. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. I forgive myself. 2 empty. Feel the words landing not just in your mind, but in your body, in your chest where the shame lives, in your stomach where the fear churns, in your throat where the truth was never spoken. Let forgiveness move like warm water through frozen landscapes, melting what was hardened, softening what was rigid. Continue breathing. Continue speaking the words internally. Let them become rhythmic, hypnotic, a mantra that bypasses your conscious resistance and reaches directly into the subconscious where the real transformation occurs. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Now expand the forgiveness outward. Breathe in, hold, exhale. I forgive my parents. Hold empty, for they did not know what they were passing down. They thought they were protecting you. They believed they were preparing you for a cruel world. They gave you what they had, which was survival strategies disguised as love. They were unconscious, yes, but not malicious. They were wounded, yes, but they were also doing their best. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. I forgive my parents. 2 empty. Feel resistance rise. This is natural. The part of you that was hurt wants justice, wants acknowledgement, wants someone to be held responsible for the pain. Honor that part, but do not let it run your life anymore. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay. Forgiveness is refusing to let what happened continue to poison your present. Forgiveness is alchemy, turning the lead of resentment into the gold of freedom. I forgive my parents. I forgive my parents. I forgive my parents. Breathe deeper now. The rhythm is established. Your body knows what to do. Continue. I forgive my ancestors, all of them. The ones who suffered, yes, but also the ones who inflicted suffering. The ones who made choices you judge, who lived by values you reject, who passed down patterns you now struggle to break. They were products of their time, their circumstances, their level of consciousness. I forgive my ancestors. I forgive my ancestors. And now, most radically, I forgive the world for its cruelty and injustice, for its systems that perpetuate inequality, for every time opportunity was denied, effort was unrewarded, worthiness was questioned, for every closed door, every rejection, every humiliation. Forgive it all, not because it was right, but because holding on to it keeps you bound to it. I forgive the world. I forgive the world. The rhythm continues, the breath continues, and with each repetition, you feel something shifting. The density in your chest begins to dissolve. The contraction begins to release. Space opens where there was only tightness. This is the forgiveness frequency activating. You are not manufacturing this. You are tuning into something that already exists, a river of grace that flows eternally, waiting for you to step into its current. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out, 2 empty. One final layer remains, the deepest, the most radical, the most transformative. I forgive existence itself for making you wait, for hiding abundance when you needed it most, for the illusion of separation, the appearance of scarcity, the experience of lack. Forgive reality for seeming cruel, for feeling indifferent, for not conforming to your timeline. And in forgiving existence, you stop fighting it. You stop resisting what is. You align with the flow instead of struggling against it. This is not passive acceptance. This is active surrender to a wisdom larger than your individual understanding. I forgive existence. I forgive existence. The words continue, but they begin to fade in importance. What matters now is not the words, but the state they have induced. A frequency of openness, of release, of profound letting go. Your breathing has slowed naturally. Your body feels lighter. The heaviness in your chest has transformed into warmth, into spaciousness, into something that feels almost like love. This is not manufactured emotion. This is authentic shift. The forgiveness frequency has done its work. The emotional DNA has been rewritten. The charge has been neutralized. You cannot return to who you were before this moment. Something fundamental has changed. The grievance you carried, the resentment you held, the shame you bore, it has lost its power. Not because you've forgotten, but because you've forgiven. Take 3 final deep breaths. On each exhale, whisper aloud or internally, I am free, I am free, I am free. Open your eyes when you are ready. The alchemy is complete. What was dense is now light. What was bitter is now sweet. What was poison is now medicine. You have touched the forgiveness frequency, and it has transformed you from the inside out. Chapter 8. Reclaiming the Sacred Name. In the beginning, before the world told you who you were, before society assigned you a role, before circumstances labeled you, there was a name. Not the name on your birth certificate, not the name people call you in the world. A different name. A true name. The name that existed in the mind of the universe before you took form. The name that describes not what you do or where you come from, but what you are in essence. Indigenous cultures understood this. They gave children temporary names and waited for the true name to reveal itself through vision quest, through ceremony, through the unfolding of character. The true name was not assigned by parents. It was received from the sacred, from the soul itself. You had a true name once. But somewhere along the journey of survival, it was forgotten. Other names covered it. Unworthy, broken, insufficient, limited, struggling. These became the names you answered to, the identities you embodied, the frequencies you transmitted. Tonight, you reclaim what was lost. Tonight, you remember your sacred name. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let yourself sink into that now familiar state of ceremonial consciousness, where symbolic reality is just as real, perhaps more real, than physical reality. You find yourself standing at the edge of a vast, still lake. The water is so clear you can see all the way to the bottom, though it appears infinitely deep. The sky above mirrors the water below. Above and below united, separation dissolved. This is the lake of original identity, the place where all true names are kept, waiting to be remembered by those brave enough to look beneath the surface of their conditioned self. You walk slowly into the water. It is neither cold nor warm, but perfectly neutral, holding you without resistance. As you wade deeper, you notice that with each step, something falls away. The water is dissolving the false names, the imposed identities, the masks you have worn for so long. A name dissolves. Victim. You feel it peel away like old skin, sinking to the bottom of the lake, where it will be composted back into neutral energy. Another name dissolves. Not enough. The identity that has followed you like a shadow, whispering its poison. It loosens, releases, sinks away. Deeper into the water now. More names fall. Limited, broken, struggling, poor, undeserving. Each one a lie you believed, an identity you inhabited, a frequency you broadcast. Each one now dissolving, returning to the void from which it came. The water reaches your chest, your heart. And here, the deepest false name reveals itself. Forgotten. The belief that you are not seen by the universe, not known, not held, not chosen. This is the root identity of all poverty consciousness, the sense that you are somehow outside the circle of divine providence. You breathe into it, you let the water touch it, and it too dissolves slowly, like salt in water, until nothing remains but you, nameless, naked, new. You continue walking until the water is over your head. You are underwater now, but you can breathe. This is not drowning, this is baptism. You are being unmade so you can be remade. You are returning to the original moment before conditioning, before trauma, before the world told you lies about your worth. You sink all the way to the bottom of the lake. Your feet touch something solid, not earth, but crystal. The entire floor of this lake is made of pure, clear crystal that hums with frequency. And there, carved into the crystal directly beneath where you stand, you see it, your sacred name. It is not made of letters from any earthly alphabet. It is made of light, of symbol, of frequency. You cannot read it with your mind, but your soul recognizes it instantly. This is who you are beneath all the layers. This is what you have always been, even when you forgot. Reach down and touch the name. As your fingers make contact, the frequency transfers from the crystal into your body. You feel it moving up through your feet, your legs, your spine, spreading into every cell. This is not just information. This is activation. The name is rewriting your energetic signature, restoring your original frequency. The sacred name might come to you as a feeling, beloved, chosen, infinite, radiant, abundant, free. Or it might come as an image, a tree that cannot be felled, a river that cannot be stopped, a star that never dims. Or it might come as a knowing that transcends words. I am the consciousness that creates worlds. I am the abundance I seek. I am the miracle I have been waiting for. However it comes, receive it. This is not ego inflation. This is accurate self-recognition. This is remembering what you forgot, reclaiming what was always yours. You push off from the bottom of the lake and begin to rise. As you ascend through the water, the name rises with you, integrating more deeply with each breath. By the time you break the surface, you are no longer the person who entered the water. You stand at the shore, dripping, transformed. The old names have washed away. The sacred name has been restored. You are new, but you are also ancient, as old as consciousness itself, as eternal as the universe that dreamed you into being. Speak the sacred name aloud now, or hold it silently in your heart. Let it become the frequency you answer to, the identity you embody, the truth from which you operate. When the world calls you by your old names, when circumstances try to convince you that you are small, struggling, limited, you will hear those names, but not answer to them. You will remember, that is not who I am. I have another name, a true name, a sacred name. And from that name, from that frequency, from that identity, you will create a life that reflects not the poverty of the past, but the abundance that is your birthright. You are not who you were told you are. You are not who circumstances suggested you might be. You are not the accumulation of traumas, failures, and limitations. You are the sacred name carved in crystal at the bottom of the lake of original identity. You are that frequency made flesh. You are consciousness itself, wearing a temporary form, here to remember and to create. Take 3 deep breaths. Let the sacred name settle into your bones, your blood, your cells. Feel it becoming your new baseline, your new normal, your new truth. When you open your eyes, you will return to the world. But you will not return as the same person. You will return as the one who knows their sacred name. And that changes everything. Open your eyes now. Reborn, reclaimed, renamed. Chapter 9. The Wealth Memory Activation. Deep in the spiral of your DNA, in the intricate double helix that carries the code of who you are, there exists something science is only beginning to understand. Memory. Not just genetic instructions for brown eyes or tall stature, but actual experiential memory. The recorded experiences of your ancestors encoded in the very structure of your cells. This is not metaphor. This is epigenetics, the study of how experiences alter gene expression, how trauma and triumph both leave marks that are passed down through generations. You carry in your body the memory of every ancestor who ever lived. The question is, which memories are active? Which frequencies are broadcasting through you? For most of your life, the active memories have been those of scarcity, the famine your great-great-grandmother survived, the business failure that bankrupted your grandfather, the depression, the wars, the losses. These memories have been playing on repeat in your cellular structure, creating unconscious expectations of lack, danger, and limitation. But those are not the only memories encoded in your DNA. There are others, dormant, waiting. Memories of abundance, of prosperity, of success. Because not every ancestor struggled, not every generation failed. Somewhere in your lineage there were merchants, landowners, artisans, healers who thrived. Their experiences are in you too. Their frequency is available. It simply needs to be activated. Tonight you perform the wealth memory activation. Tonight you awaken the dormant DNA frequencies of prosperity that have been sleeping in your cells, waiting for the one with enough consciousness to call them forth. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Place your hands over your heart, one palm on top of the other. Feel the beat beneath your hands, the ancient rhythm that has not stopped since before you were born, the drum that will play until your final moment. Now, with each heartbeat, imagine that you are sending your consciousness deeper, not into your mind, but into your body, down through layers of tissue, through muscle and bone, down to the cellular level, down further still to the microscopic architecture of the cell itself. You arrive at the nucleus, and there, spiraling in elegant double helixes, you see your DNA, glowing, pulsing, alive with light. This is not the simplified image from textbooks. This is the full reality. Billions of nucleotides, infinite combinations, a library of ancestral wisdom that would take lifetimes to read, even if you had the language. But you do not need to read it all. You only need to find the specific strands, the ones that carry the memory of abundance. As you observe the spiral, you notice that different sections glow with different intensities. Some shine brightly. These are active genes, experiences, and patterns currently expressing through your life. Others are dim, barely visible, dormant genes, potentials that have not been activated. You are looking for the dim ones that carry the wealth frequency. They are here. You know it. Because no lineage is purely poverty. No ancestry is only struggle. There were moments, generations, entire eras where someone in your line prospered. Reach out now with your inner awareness and touch the DNA strand. As you do, images begin to flash, rapid, vivid ancestral memories playing like a film. You see a woman 300 years back running a successful textile business in a village square. She is respected, prosperous, free. This is your lineage. This memory is in you. You see a man 5 generations prior, whose innovations in farming brought abundance not just to himself, but to his entire community. He was celebrated, rewarded, wealthy. This is your lineage. This memory is in you. You see a healer 7 generations distant, whose skills were so valued that people traveled great distances to seek her wisdom, bringing gifts, offerings, payment. She lived in ease, in flow, in prosperity. This is your lineage. This memory is in you. These are not fantasies. These are actual ancestral experiences, encoded in the structure of your cells, dormant until now. And now you activate them. Place your awareness on the first dim strand that carries a wealth memory. As you hold your attention on it, begin to breathe golden light directly into the DNA. With each breath, the strand begins to glow brighter. You are activating it, turning on genes that have been off, waking up frequencies that have been sleeping. Breathe. The strand brightens. The memory of the successful merchant begins to pulse through your bloodstream, teaching your cells what abundance feels like, what prosperity consciousness is, how ease and flow operate. Move to the next strand. The innovative farmer. Breathe golden light. Activate. The memory rises, integrates, begins broadcasting its frequency through your entire system. The healer. Breathe. Activate. Integrate. One by one, you move through the DNA, finding every strand that carries a memory of success, of prosperity, of thriving. Each one you activate with golden breath, with focused attention, with absolute intention. This is not wishful thinking. This is genetic activation. This is cellular reprogramming. This is awakening dormant potentials that are your biological inheritance. As you activate more and more wealth memories, something extraordinary happens. The individual strands begin to resonate with each other, creating a harmonic. The frequency builds, amplifies, begins to radiate outward from the DNA, into the cell, into the tissue, into the organs, into every system of your body. Your cells are literally learning a new language, the language of abundance. Your nervous system is recalibrating to a new baseline, the baseline of prosperity. Your energy field is restructuring itself around a new frequency, the frequency of wealth consciousness. This is the wealth memory activation in its fullest expression. You are not creating something new. You are remembering something ancient. You are not manifesting from outside yourself. You are activating what was already within. Now pull your awareness back up from the cellular level, up through tissue and bone, back into your body as a whole. But you are not the same. The DNA has been rewritten. The memories have been activated. The frequency has shifted. Place both hands over your heart again and feel it. A warmth, a fullness, a sense of rightness that was not there before. This is your cellular structure adjusting to its new programming, your entire being reorganizing around the activated wealth memory. Speak these words aloud, letting them anchor the activation. I carry abundance in my cells. Prosperity is my inheritance. Wealth is my genetic memory. Success is encoded in my DNA. I am the expression of ancestral triumph. The frequency of abundance is active within me now. With each statement, feel the truth of it landing deeper. This is not affirmation divorced from reality. This is declaration based on biological fact. You have just activated dormant genetic potential. The wealth memory is no longer sleeping. It is awake, active, expressing through you. Take 3 final deep breaths. With each inhale, draw in more of this frequency. With each exhale, release any remaining resistance to embodying it fully. When you open your eyes, you will not see immediate external change. The activation is internal, but internal changes always precede external manifestation. You have just planted seeds at the deepest possible level, the genetic level. Now those seeds will grow, will express, will manifest in ways you cannot yet imagine but will soon recognize. You are no longer running only the programming of scarcity. The wealth memory is active. The abundance frequency is broadcasting. And your life will begin to reflect this shift naturally, organically, inevitably. Open your eyes. The activation is complete. The dormant has awakened. The genetic inheritance of prosperity is now yours to embody. Chapter 10. The River of Renewal. You have traveled far in this act. You have faced your ancestors in the Hall of Mirrors, touched the forgiveness frequency, reclaimed your sacred name, and activated the dormant DNA of wealth consciousness. You have been unmade and remade, dissolved and reconstituted, broken down and rebuilt. Now you require something sacred: rest, integration, the gentle washing away of any residual energetic debris, the cleansing that prepares you not for more work, but for the dream time where the deepest transformation occurs beneath consciousness. This is the river of renewal, and tonight you will surrender to its current. Lie down now, if you are not already. Let your body settle into whatever surface holds you, bed, floor, earth. Feel the weight of your bones being received by gravity. You have been holding yourself upright for so long. You can release now. You are safe. You are held. Close your eyes. Begin to breathe, but without effort. Let the breath breathe you. Let your body remember its ancient rhythm, the one that existed before stress taught you to hold, before fear taught you to control. As you breathe, begin to hear it, the sound of water. Soft at first, distant, like a whisper at the edge of consciousness. But with each breath, it grows clearer, closer, more present. This is not sound from outside. This is sound from within, from the deepest layer of your psyche where healing speaks in the language of symbol and sensation. You are lying beside a river. You cannot see it yet, but you can hear it, the ancient eternal flow of water moving over stone through forests toward oceans you will never see but have always known. This is not an ordinary river. This is the river of renewal, the stream that flows through all dimensions, washing away what was, preparing space for what will be. Listen to the water. Let its sound become the primary focus of your awareness. Notice how it is not one sound, but many. The high tinkle of water over rocks, the low murmur of deeper currents, the splash where something breaks the surface, the silence between sounds that is somehow also part of the song. The sound of the river is at 432 hertz, the frequency that resonates with the natural vibration of the universe itself, the tone that brings coherence, harmony, healing. Let this frequency wash through your auditory system, into your nervous system, into your cells. You are being tuned, calibrated, brought into alignment with the cosmic flow. Now you can see the river. It appears in your inner vision, luminous in the darkness. The water is not blue or green, but opalescent, catching light that seems to come from within itself, from the water itself, as if the river is made not just of H2O, but of liquid starlight, of flowing consciousness, of pure potential in liquid form. Rise now from where you lie and walk toward the river's edge. As you approach, you notice something floating in the water. Thousands of small lights like candles set adrift, each one representing a burden you have released. An ancestral contract, a false identity, a memory of scarcity, a belief in limitation. You watch them float by, each light a small funeral for something that needed to die so you could fully live. You do not grab at them. You do not try to hold on. You simply witness their passing, their journey downstream to the ocean of dissolution where all old forms go to be unmade. Step into the water now. It is warm, welcoming, the perfect temperature that makes you uncertain where your skin ends and the water begins. As the river touches your feet, you feel something lifting, energetic residue from the work you have done, density that accumulated during the journey, exhaustion from the transformation. Wade deeper. The water reaches your ankles, your calves, your knees. With each inch of submersion, more falls away. The water is washing you clean, not of dirt but of frequency, the old vibration of lack, the familiar tone of struggle, the sound of scarcity that has been playing in the background of your life, like static on an untuned radio. The water reaches your waist, your chest, your shoulders. You are almost fully submerged now, held by the river, supported by its ancient current. You do not need to swim. You do not need to work. You simply need to allow yourself to be held, to be cleansed, to be renewed. Dip your head beneath the surface. The water closes over you, and for a moment, you are completely submerged, baptized in the river of renewal. And in that moment of complete submersion, you hear something beneath the sound of the river, a voice, or perhaps many voices, speaking in unison. You are clean now, you are clear now, you are ready now. The old code has been released. The new frequency is established. Rest now, integrate now, dream now. You rise from beneath the surface, water streaming from your hair, your face, your body. You walk back to the shore, but you are not the same person who entered. The river has done its work. You have been washed clean, energetically purified, prepared for the next phase of the journey. Return now to your body on the bed, on the floor, wherever you lie. Feel the weight of your form once again, but notice, it feels lighter now. Something has been removed. Something has been cleansed. The sound of the river continues, but softer now, more distant, as if it has done its work and is receding to its proper place in the background of your consciousness. Always there, always available, but no longer demanding attention. Your breathing has slowed even further. The rhythm has become almost imperceptible. You are at the edge of sleep, the threshold between waking consciousness and the dream realm where the deepest integration occurs. As you drift towards sleep, imagine that the river continues to flow through you even now. With each breath, it moves through your energy body, carrying away the last traces of the old frequency, leaving only space, clear, clean, open space for the new frequency to establish itself fully. You may sleep now. You may drift. You may dissolve into the dream time where your subconscious will complete the work you began consciously. While you sleep, the ancestors you healed in the Hall of Mirrors will visit you in dreams, offering blessings. The sacred name you reclaimed will be whispered by guides you have forgotten, but who have never forgotten you. The wealth memory you activated will continue to express, weaving new neural pathways while your conscious mind rests. Sleep is not rest from the work. Sleep is where the work continues at levels you cannot observe, but will absolutely feel upon waking. Let go now. Release into the current. Trust the river. You have done all that needs to be done consciously. The rest happens in surrender, in rest, in the sacred darkness where transformation completes itself. The river of renewal flows eternally. It has washed you clean, and when you wake, you will wake new, not the person you were when this act began, but the person you were always meant to become. Rest now, dream now, integrate now. The river holds you, the work is complete, and you are renewed. Chapter 11, The Garden of Infinite Supply. You have cleansed yourself in the river of renewal. You have released what needed releasing, activated what needed activating. Now comes the work of reconstruction, not of something new, but of something ancient that has always existed, waiting for you to remember it. Close your eyes. 3 slow breaths, each one deeper than the last. Feel yourself descending now not into shadow, but into light, into spaciousness, into the realm where consciousness creates form, where thought becomes matter, where imagination is not escape from reality, but the workshop where reality is built. You find yourself standing before an enormous gate. It is made of something between iron and light, solid yet shimmering. Beyond it, you can hear sounds, birdsong, wind through leaves, water flowing over stone. And beneath those sounds, something else, a hum, a vibration, the sound of life multiplying, expanding, growing without effort. The gate swings open without your touching it. It has been waiting for you. It opens to your frequency now because your frequency has changed. You are no longer vibrating at the old tone of scarcity. You are resonating at a new pitch. And this gate, the entrance to the garden of infinite supply, only opens to those who have shifted. Step through. The garden that spreads before you defies ordinary logic. It is vast yet intimate, wild yet intentional. Trees heavy with fruit stand beside flowers that bloom in colors you have never seen. Streams flow upward as easily as down. The air itself seems alive, shimmering with potential, thick with the sensation of abundance waiting to manifest. This is not a metaphor. This is a neural exercise in perception training. You are teaching your brain to recognize abundance, to look for multiplication rather than subtraction, to expect expansion instead of contraction. The subconscious learns through imagery more powerfully than through logic. What you vividly imagine, the brain encodes as experience, and experience rewrites neural pathways. Walk deeper into the garden. Notice how the path beneath your feet is made of something golden, not gold metal, but golden light compressed into solid form. With each step, the path glows more brightly, as if your presence activates it, increases it. Reach out now and touch the nearest tree. The moment your fingers make contact with the bark, something extraordinary happens. Where there was one apple on the branch, now there are 3. You have not taken anything. You have multiplied it simply by touching it, simply by bringing your attention and intention to it. This is the fundamental law of the garden of infinite supply. Whatever you focus on with clear attention and positive emotion multiplies, not because you are extracting it from somewhere else, but because focused consciousness is creative. It does not take from a limited pie. It bakes new pies. Touch a flower. Watch as one blossom becomes a cluster, becomes a field. Your contact does not diminish. It amplifies. This is the opposite of everything scarcity consciousness taught you. You were trained to believe that taking meant someone else had less, that having meant someone else had none, that your expansion required someone else's contraction. The garden teaches a different mathematics, the mathematics of infinite supply. Walk to the stream, kneel beside it, and cup your hands in the water. As you lift your hands, filled with clear liquid that sparkles with light, you see that the stream has not diminished. In fact, it flows more powerfully. Your participation has increased the flow, not decreased it. Drink from your hands. The water tastes like every good thing you have ever experienced. Joy, satisfaction, love, triumph, all compressed into liquid form. As you swallow, you feel it move through your body, teaching your cells a new truth. There is always enough. There is always more. Supply is not scarce. It is infinite. Stand now and look around the garden with new eyes. Everywhere you look, you see evidence of multiplication, seeds that plant themselves and instantly become trees, streams that flow in abundance without source or destination, fruit that grows faster than it can be harvested. This is not fantasy. This is the actual energetic structure of reality when scarcity filters are removed. The universe is not a closed system with limited resources fighting over scraps. The universe is an open system, constantly creating, constantly expanding, constantly generating new form from the infinite field of potential. You have been looking at reality through scarcity-tinted glasses. The garden shows you what is actually there when the glasses come off. As you walk through the garden, you notice that you are leaving a trail, but not a trail of footprints or destruction, a trail of growth. Where you walked, new flowers are blooming, new paths are forming, new possibilities are emerging. Your very presence in this garden is generative. You are not a consumer of resources. You are a multiplier of abundance. This is neural priming. You are teaching your brain to look for evidence of abundance in your actual life. When you open your eyes and return to the physical world, this training will activate. You will start noticing things you always overlooked. Opportunities, resources, gifts, synchronicities. Not because they are suddenly appearing, but because you are suddenly able to see them. The garden of infinite supply exists not just in visualization. It exists as an energetic reality. You have just attuned yourself to its frequency, and now everywhere you go, you will carry that frequency with you. You will become a walking garden, multiplying whatever you touch, with clear attention and positive emotion. Take 3 final breaths in this garden. With each inhale, breathe in the abundance frequency. With each exhale, anchor it into your cellular memory. You are not leaving the garden. You are taking it with you, planting it in the soil of your daily life. When you open your eyes, look at your world as you would look at this garden. What you focus on multiplies. Choose your focus wisely. You have just been trained to see abundance. Now practice that sight. Chapter 12. The Currency of Belief. You have walked in the garden where everything multiplies. Now you must understand the mechanism. How does consciousness create form? How does thought become thing? What is the actual currency of manifestation? The world taught you that money is currency. Pieces of paper, digits in accounts, the limited resource for which you must compete. But this is surface understanding. Money is not the true currency. Money is the effect, not the cause. The real currency, the one that purchases reality itself, is something else entirely. Attention, emotion, belief. These are the true currencies. And unlike money, they are infinite. You can never run out of attention. You can always generate more emotion. Belief is not a scarce resource you must extract from a limited supply. It is something you mint within yourself constantly, whether you know it or not. Right now, in this moment, you are spending your attention. The question is, on what? Every second you give to worry about lack, you are investing your currency in the very thing you claim not to want. Every moment spent in fear of not having enough, you are pouring your creative energy into manifesting more insufficiency. This is not blame, this is mechanics. The universe does not judge where you place your attention, it simply amplifies it. Your consciousness is a lens that focuses creative energy. Whatever you focus on, wanted or unwanted, receives the power of your belief and manifests accordingly. You have been unconsciously wealthy in poverty. Spend your attention lavishly on limitation, rich in the belief of scarcity, a millionaire of not enough thoughts. Your attention account was full, but you were spending it in the market of lack. Now you must become conscious, intentional, strategic about where you invest your most precious resource. Close your eyes. Place your awareness in the center of your chest. Feel the space there, the energetic heart, the true bank of consciousness. This is not a metaphor. This is the actual location where you store and generate belief. Inside this space, imagine a vast treasury, not filled with gold coins or paper bills, but with something far more valuable, units of pure creative potential. Each unit is a thought charged with emotion, an attention moment married to belief. This is what you spend into reality every single day. Look at how you have been spending it. In the past, your treasury was being drained by unconscious investments in fear-based futures. Every worry was a withdrawal. Every doubt was a payment to the entity of scarcity. Every "I can't afford" was you transferring your wealth from the account of possibility into the account of limitation. But your treasury is not depleted. It cannot be depleted. It regenerates continuously. Every moment, new units of creative potential are minted within you. The question is never, do I have enough currency? The question is always, where am I spending it? Now, make a conscious decision. You are the central bank of your own reality. You are the one who decides what has value, what deserves investment, what will receive the currency of your focused consciousness. Declare it now, internally or aloud. I am the bank of consciousness. I mint my own currency. I decide what receives my investment. I withdraw all attention from poverty and invest everything in abundance. Feel the shift as you speak these words. You are not asking permission from some external economy. You are claiming authority over your own creative power. You are becoming the conscious allocator of your most valuable resource. In the treasury of your heart, see yourself now making new investments. Take a unit of attention, bright, charged, potent, and place it consciously into the account marked prosperity. Watch it multiply. 1 becomes 2, becomes 10, becomes 100. This is compound interest at the level of consciousness. Take a unit of emotion, specifically gratitude, and invest it in the account marked abundance. Even before physical abundance has manifested, you feel grateful for it. This gratitude is not delusional. It is strategic. It is the emotional currency that purchases reality. The universe responds to the frequency of gratitude by giving you more to be grateful for. Take a unit of belief, the deep knowing that you are supported, that supply is infinite, that you are worthy, and invest it in the account marked wealth consciousness. This belief does not require evidence. It is the evidence. Belief precedes manifestation, always. You are spending differently now. Your attention is no longer scattered across worry, doubt, fear. It is concentrated, focused, intentional. You are no longer a careless spender of consciousness. You are a wise investor. And here is the secret that changes everything. The universe does not care about your current bank account. It cares about your vibrational bank account. It responds not to what you have, but to what you believe you are. If you are wealthy in consciousness, rich in self-worth, abundant in possibility thinking, prosperous in your attention allocation, physical wealth must follow. It is law. The outer world is a delayed reflection of the inner world. If you change the inner economy, shift where you invest your attention, redirect your emotional currency, reallocate your belief, the outer economy has no choice but to eventually align. This is not wishful thinking. This is energetic causation. Consciousness precedes form. Thought precedes thing. Belief precedes manifestation. You are not at the mercy of economic systems. You are the creator of your personal economy through the currency of your consciousness. Take 3 final breaths. With each one, feel yourself settling into this new identity. I am the bank. I am the investor. I am the conscious allocator of creative currency. I spend wisely, invest intentionally, and my reality reflects my internal wealth. When you open your eyes, you will notice where your attention wants to go habitually. Old patterns will suggest old investments, but now you know you have a choice. Every moment is a transaction. Spend consciously. Invest in what you want to grow. You are wealthy beyond measure in the currency that actually matters. Chapter 13, The Architect's Blueprint. You have learned to see abundance in the garden. You have understood the true currency of consciousness. Now comes the sacred work of construction, not building wealth in the world, but building the inner architecture that makes outer wealth inevitable. Every great structure begins with a blueprint. The Taj Mahal, the pyramids, the cathedrals of Europe. None appeared spontaneously. They existed first as vision in the mind of an architect, then as detailed plans, and only then as physical form. The same is true for wealth. It must be built first in consciousness before it can manifest in circumstance. Tonight, you become the architect of your prosperity, and the structure you design will be more magnificent than any physical building because it will be constructed in the realm where all form originates, the subconscious mind. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Settle into the ceremonial state you now know well. You are descending not into darkness, but into the creative dimension, the place where thoughts are things, where imagination is architecture, where vision becomes structure. You find yourself standing on an empty plain. The ground beneath your feet is solid but featureless. The sky above is vast and clear. You are at the beginning point, the 0 point, the place before creation, where anything is possible and nothing is yet determined. In your hand, you hold something you did not notice before, a rolled parchment. This is the blueprint. But when you unroll it, you see that it is blank. It has not been drawn yet. You are not here to follow someone else's plan. You are here to create your own. Before you, materials appear, but not ordinary materials. These are the building blocks of consciousness itself. thoughts like bricks of light, emotions like mortar that binds, beliefs like steel beams, intentions like foundation stones. This is what you will use to construct your palace of prosperity. Begin with the foundation. What is the bedrock upon which your wealth will rest? Speak it aloud or silently. I am worthy of abundance. I deserve prosperity. Wealth is my natural state. As you speak, golden stones appear and arrange themselves in a perfect square, forming the foundation. This is not affirmation. This is actual construction at the subconscious level. Now raise the first walls. These walls are not barriers. They are boundaries of protection, sacred space where your new wealth consciousness can establish itself without interference from old programming. The walls are made of belief, solid, unshakable belief in your own creative power. As you visualize the walls rising, speak, I am the architect of wealth. My thoughts are gold. My intentions manifest. My vision becomes reality. With each word, the walls grow higher, stronger, more real. You are not imagining this. You are building it in the dimension where all physical form is first conceived. The walls complete themselves. Now comes the roof, the covering that represents divine protection, the knowing that you are supported by intelligence greater than your individual understanding. The roof is made of trust, of surrender, of allowance. It says, I create and I allow the universe to handle the how. The structure is taking shape, but a palace requires more than walls and roof. It requires rooms, chambers, spaces designated for specific purposes. Begin creating them now. One chamber is the room of receiving. This is where abundance comes to you. Visualize it with doors that open inward, with windows that let in light, with space vast enough to hold everything you desire. Speak. I receive easily. I accept gracefully. I am open to all good flowing to me. Another chamber is the room of gratitude. This is where you store the frequency that multiplies everything. See it filled with golden light, with warmth, with the feeling of deep appreciation for what is already here and what is coming. Create now the room of action. Wealth consciousness is not passive. This is the chamber where inspired ideas are born, where intuitive guidance is heard, where aligned steps are planned. It is filled with creative energy, with momentum, with the power of intentional movement. And finally, the room of circulation. Wealth does not stagnate, it flows. This chamber has doors on all sides. Abundance flowing in, generosity flowing out, always in motion, always circulating. Speak, I give freely, I receive joyfully. The flow never stops. Step back now and look at what you have built. This palace of prosperity is not somewhere else. It is in you. It is the new architecture of your subconscious mind. Every visualization you just performed carved neural pathways, established energetic structures, created actual form in the dimension that precedes physical manifestation. This palace is your new dwelling place. The old structure, the shack of scarcity, the cramped quarters of limitation, has been replaced. You built something new, and the law of consciousness says, outer reality must eventually reflect inner architecture. But building is not enough. You must inhabit what you have built. Walk now through the palace. Move from room to room. Feel yourself at home in prosperity. Let your nervous system adjust to this new residence. You are not visiting abundance. You are living in it. The blueprint in your hand is no longer blank. It is filled with intricate designs. Every detail of your palace of prosperity rendered perfectly. This blueprint now exists in your subconscious, and your subconscious is the master builder of your life. It will work tirelessly to make external reality match the internal blueprint. Take 3 final breaths inside your palace. With each breath, the structure becomes more solid, more real, more established. You are the architect of wealth. Your thoughts are gold. Your subconscious is the builder, and your life will reflect the magnificence of what you have constructed here. When you open your eyes, you carry this palace within you. It goes where you go. It is your new baseline, your new normal, your new frequency. You no longer live in the consciousness of poverty. You dwell in the palace of prosperity. And from this new residence, you will create a life that matches its grandeur. Chapter 14. Magnetic Frequencies of Abundance. The palace has been built. The blueprint is complete, but a structure, no matter how magnificent, is lifeless without the energy that animates it. What good is a palace of prosperity if it stands empty, if no current flows through it, if it does not pulse with the living frequency of wealth consciousness? Now you must become magnetic, not metaphorically magnetic, actually magnetic, a living electromagnetic field that attracts, pulls, draws to you the resources, opportunities, and circumstances that match your new frequency. Physics teaches that everything is vibration. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, all of it is frequency. And frequency does not merely exist. It broadcasts. It sends out a signal into the field of infinite potential, and the field responds by reflecting back circumstances that match the signal. For years, you have been broadcasting the frequency of scarcity, fear, lack, limitation, and the field, neutral and responsive, gave you back more circumstances that matched that frequency. Not as punishment, as resonance. This is law. Now you will shift the frequency, and when the frequency shifts, the magnetism shifts. You will begin pulling toward you not through effort or force, but through resonance, through natural attractive power, through becoming the very thing you seek to attract. Close your eyes. Place your awareness in your solar plexus, the energetic center of personal power located just above your navel. This is the broadcasting station, the place where your electromagnetic signal originates and radiates outward. Feel it now, a warmth, a hum, a subtle vibration in that center. This is your current frequency. Do not judge it. Simply observe it. What does it feel like? Contracted or expansive? Heavy or light? Uncertain or confident? Now consciously, intentionally, begin to shift it. Start to breathe golden light directly into your solar plexus. With each inhale, the light grows brighter, warmer, more powerful. You are turning up the frequency, raising the vibration, increasing the electromagnetic output. As the light intensifies, begin to speak, not prayers of desperation, but declarations of already embodied truth. Let these words pulse with each breath. I am abundant. Wealth flows to me. Prosperity is mine. I am magnetic to money. Opportunities find me easily. Resources come to me naturally. I attract success. I embody affluence. I radiate richness. Let the rhythm accelerate. The words are not important for their literal meaning. They are important as vibrational carriers, as frequency modulators. Each statement shifts your electromagnetic signature a few degrees higher, a few notes clearer. I am the frequency of wealth. Money loves me. Abundance seeks me. Prosperity flows through me. I am a magnet for miracles. Synchronicity surrounds me. I live in the flow. I am the current of wealth consciousness. Feel it now. The frequency in your solar plexus is transforming. What was dim is bright. What was sluggish is rapid. What was uncertain is absolute. You are not generating a new frequency. You are remembering your original frequency, the one you were born with before the world taught you scarcity. The light in your solar plexus begins to expand outward. It fills your torso, your limbs, your head. It extends beyond your physical body, creating an energy field around you. An aura of abundance that broadcasts 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet in all directions. You have become a walking electromagnetic field of prosperity, and everything that matches this frequency is now being pulled toward you through invisible threads of resonance. You cannot see these threads, but they are there, connecting you to opportunities, ideas, people, resources that will support your wealth. This is not law of attraction as wishful thinking. This is law of attraction as physics. Like frequencies attract. You have shifted your frequency. Now the magnetic pull begins. But magnetism is not passive reception. It is active alignment. You must move in the direction of the pull. When you feel drawn to take an action, investigate an opportunity, speak to a person. This is not random impulse. This is magnetic guidance. The frequency has locked onto something that matches it and is guiding you toward alignment. Feel it now in your body. You are literally vibrating at a different rate than you were 10 minutes ago. Your cells are humming with new information. Your nervous system is recalibrating to a new baseline. Your energy field is broadcasting a signal it has never broadcast before with such clarity and power. Take 3 deep breaths. With each exhale, imagine the signal broadcasting further outward, through the room, the building, the city, the country, the world. You are not shouting, you are resonating, and resonance travels infinitely. Speak one final declaration, slowly, letting each word carry maximum frequency. I am abundance embodied. I am wealth incarnate. I am prosperity in human form. I am the frequency that creates fortune. I am magnetic. I am magnetic. I am magnetic. The repetition is intentional. The subconscious learns through rhythm and repetition. Each time you speak, I am magnetic, you are etching the new frequency deeper into your operating system. When you open your eyes, pay attention to what happens in the next hours and days. You will notice things, small synchronicities, unexpected messages, sudden ideas, chance encounters. These are not coincidences. These are the magnetic field doing its work, drawing to you what matches your new frequency. Do not dismiss them as luck. Recognize them as evidence. The frequency has shifted. The magnetism is active. You are now a living attractor field for abundance. And the universe is responding. Chapter 15, The Dreamer's Currency Exchange. You stand now at the completion of the 3rd act. The garden has trained your perception. The currency has been understood. The palace has been built. The frequency has been shifted. You are no longer the person who began this journey. That person has been composted into something new. But one final transaction remains, the most sacred exchange of all. You must now formally, ceremonially, irrevocably trade your old identity for your new one. This is not metaphor. This is actual energetic exchange. The dreamer's currency exchange, where the coin of your old self purchases the freedom of your new self. Close your eyes. 3 slow breaths. You are descending for the final time in this act, not into depths, but into the between space, the liminal realm where transformation completes itself, where old forms die and new forms are born. You find yourself in a vast chamber that resembles both a temple and a bank. It is circular with a domed ceiling that seems to contain the night sky itself, stars wheeling overhead, galaxies spinning in their ancient dance. In the center of the chamber stands an altar that is also a counter, a sacred exchange point where transactions of identity occur. Behind this counter stands a figure. They are neither male nor female, neither young nor old. They are the exchanger, the one who has presided over every transformation, every rebirth, every moment when a soul chose to release what it was, to become what it could be. You approach the counter. The exchanger looks at you with eyes that have seen everything and judge nothing. They speak, and their voice is like wind through canyons. You have come to trade. Show me what you bring. You reach into your pocket, your bag, your heart, wherever you have been carrying them, and pull out tokens. Each token represents an aspect of your old identity, the beliefs you have carried, the self-image you have worn, the frequency you have broadcast. One token is heavy and dark. Inscribed on it, I am not enough. You place it on the counter. Another token, equally heavy, I am unworthy of wealth. It clinks beside the first. More tokens emerge. I must struggle. Success is for others. I will always be limited. My family's poverty is my destiny. One by one, you place them all on the counter. These are not just symbols. They are actual energetic imprints, crystallized belief forms that have been living in your energy field, defining your reality. The pile of old identity tokens grows. Some you place reluctantly. They have been companions for so long, even if they hurt you. Others you place eagerly, grateful to finally release them. All of them represent the old you, the one who lived in the architecture of scarcity. When the last token is placed, the exchanger nods. The old currency is accepted. Now state what you wish to receive in exchange. You speak clearly, strongly. I trade these lies for truth. I exchange limitation for expansion. I surrender the old identity of poverty for the new identity of prosperity. I release the frequency of lack and claim the frequency of abundance. I give up who I was to become who I truly am. The exchanger smiles. They sweep up all the old tokens, and as they touch them, the tokens begin to dissolve, not destroyed but transformed, their energy converted from one form to another, from limitation to liberation. And then, from beneath the counter, the exchanger brings forth new tokens. These are made not of heavy metal but of light itself, each one glowing, warm, alive with potential. The first new token is placed before you, inscribed on it, I am worthy of infinite abundance. You pick it up and feel its warmth spread through your palm, up your arm, into your heart. This is not just a symbol, this is an activation. The second token, wealth flows to me easily and naturally. You receive it and your solar plexus ignites with golden light. More tokens come forth. I am the creator of my reality. Prosperity is my birthright. I live in the flow of divine abundance. Money loves me and I love money. I am magnetic to miraculous wealth. Each one you receive, hold, absorb until the new identity is no longer external but integrated, no longer separate but embodied. The exchanger speaks again. The transaction is complete. You are no longer who you were. You are who you chose to become. Go now and live from this new identity. Do not return to the old tokens. They have been dissolved. Only the new remains. You gather the new identity tokens into your heart. They arrange themselves there not as separate pieces, but as a unified field, a new energetic signature, a complete identity redesign. As you turn to leave the chamber, you notice something extraordinary. Your reflection appears in the polished walls of the temple bank, and you do not recognize the person looking back. They stand differently, taller, more relaxed. They gaze with different eyes, clear, confident, knowing. This is not who you were. This is who you are now. You walk toward the exit, and with each step, the new identity settles deeper. By the time you reach the threshold, it is no longer new. It is simply you, the dreamer who knows themselves as the creator, the consciousness that recognizes itself as abundance, the being who embodies wealth not as external acquisition, but as internal truth. Step through the threshold now and return to ordinary consciousness. But you are not ordinary, you are transformed. The exchange is complete. The old currency has been traded. The new identity is established. Take 3 final breaths. Feel the new tokens glowing in your heart, not as separate objects, but as integrated frequency, as your new default setting, as who you simply are now. When you open your eyes, you will see your world through new eyes, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are no longer the one who lives in scarcity consciousness. You are the dreamer who knows their creative power, and from this knowing, you will build a life of abundance that matches the magnificence of your new identity. The dreamer's currency exchange is complete. Act 3 is finished. You are the architect, the magnet, the abundant one. Sleep. Now, knowing the transformation has taken root, and when you wake, you will wake to a new reality, because you are a new being creating it. Chapter 16, The Air of Light. You have journeyed through shadow and emerged into light. You have cleansed, constructed, activated, and transformed. But the journey is not yet complete. There is one more meeting that must occur, the most important meeting of all. Tonight, you will come face to face with the one who has been waiting for you since before this journey began, your future self. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply, slowly, intentionally. You know this descent now, this sinking beneath the surface of ordinary awareness into the realm where time is not linear but spherical, where past and future exist simultaneously with present, where all versions of you exist in eternal now. You find yourself standing on a golden path that stretches forward into mist. The path is solid beneath your feet, made of compressed light that hums with frequency. You know without being told that this path represents your timeline. Behind you, the past you have healed. Ahead, the future you are creating. Begin walking forward. With each step, you feel yourself moving not just through space, but through time itself. Days, weeks, months, years are collapsing with each footfall. You are moving toward a specific point on your timeline, 5 years, 10 years, perhaps 20 years ahead, to the moment when everything you have been building has fully manifested. The mist begins to clear, and there, standing on the path ahead, you see a figure. As you draw closer, recognition floods through you. This is you, but transformed, radiant, completely embodied in the frequency of abundance you have been cultivating. Your future self stands differently than you do now. Spine straight but relaxed, shoulders back but not rigid. There is an ease in their posture, a groundedness that speaks of someone who has nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to fear. This is the stance of true wealth consciousness. Their eyes meet yours, and in that gaze, you see everything: peace, power, gratitude, joy, fulfillment. This is not arrogance. This is self-recognition. They know who they are. They have forgotten nothing of the journey that brought them here. They honor the struggles but are no longer defined by them. Your future self speaks, and their voice carries the timbre of absolute certainty. I have been waiting for you. I exist because you made the choices that created me. Every visualization you completed, every old belief you released, every moment you chose expansion over contraction, all of it led here, to me, to this. They step closer. Look at me. See what you become when you stop fighting your own abundance. See what happens when you finally surrender to prosperity instead of struggling against it. You observe them carefully. They are dressed in a way that speaks of success without ostentation. Their energy field is expansive, bright, clean, no residue of old shame, no heaviness of ancestral burden. They have healed what you are healing now, and the healing is complete. Tell me, you ask, was it worth it? The work, the transformation, the shedding of the old self, was it worth it? Your future self smiles, and the smile contains universes. Worth it, it was inevitable. You were never meant to live in limitation. That was never your destiny. You were always meant to be this. They gesture to themselves, to their evident prosperity, their peace, their power. But I need to tell you something important, they continue. Wealth is not what you think it is. It's not the money in the accounts, though that came. It's not the freedom to travel, to choose, to live without financial fear, though all of that manifested. Wealth is this. they place their hand over their heart. The absolute knowing of your own worth. The unshakable certainty that you are valuable simply because you exist. The peace that comes from understanding you are not at the mercy of circumstances, but the creator of them. They reach out now and place both hands on your shoulders. The touch is warm, real, electric. You are not imagining this. This is actual contact across time, actual transmission of energy from future to present. I'm giving you something now, they say. I'm transferring to you the frequency I embody, so you don't have to wait years to feel what I feel. You can begin living from this vibration now. It will collapse time. It will accelerate manifestation. It will make the journey shorter and easier. You feel it, a surge of energy moving from their hands into your shoulders, down through your body, into every cell. It's warmth and light and certainty and peace all compressed into pure frequency. Your future self is literally downloading their consciousness into your present moment. As the transmission completes, your future self speaks one final time. Remember this always. You are not becoming me. I am already you. The you that exists when all the false layers are removed. The you that was there before scarcity consciousness covered it. I am not your future. I am your truth. And every choice you make from this moment that aligns with abundance brings you into resonance with who you already are. They step back, and as they do, something miraculous happens. They begin to dissolve, not disappearing, but integrating. They are merging with you, becoming one with your present consciousness. The future and the present are fusing. You feel it, a completion, an integration, a wholeness you have never known. You are no longer moving toward your abundant self. You are embodying it now. The air of light is not someone you will become. The air of light is who you are, remembering itself. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel the fusion completing. Past self, present self, future self, all converging into one eternal now, one unified consciousness, one integrated being who knows their worth and embodies their wealth. Open your eyes. The meeting is complete. You are no longer waiting to become abundant. You are abundance remembering itself. Chapter 17. The Law of Overflow. You have met your future self and integrated their frequency. You have become the air of light. But abundance that is only received and never released becomes stagnant, heavy, toxic. True wealth is not a pond. It is a river, and rivers must flow. Tonight, you learn the law that governs all sustainable prosperity, the spiritual physics that ensures abundance never runs dry, the law of overflow. Sit comfortably, eyes closed, breath steady. Place your awareness in your heart center, not your physical heart, but the energetic heart, the source point from which all giving and receiving originates. Imagine there is a well in the center of your chest. This is the well of abundance. It is fed not from above, not from outside, but from below, from the infinite source that exists at the core of consciousness itself. This well never runs dry because it is connected to the infinite. It is constantly being refilled from the bottomless reservoir of universal supply. See the water level in this well. For most of your life, the water has been low. Just enough to sustain you, never enough to overflow. You have been operating in survival mode, rationing the water, afraid that if you give too much away, you will have nothing left. But this is the lie of scarcity consciousness. The well does not fill when you hoard. The well fills when you use. The more you draw from it and give away, the faster the infinite source refills it. This is the paradox that the poverty mind cannot comprehend. You must give to receive. You must release to allow. You must let it flow through you to keep it flowing to you. Watch now as you reach into the well and draw up a bucket of water, clear, pure. pure, abundant. This water represents your resources, money, time, energy, love, attention. In the old paradigm, you would clutch this bucket tightly, terrified of spilling a drop, hoarding it against future scarcity. But you know better now. Pour the water out. Pour it onto the ground in front of you. Watch as the earth receives it, as it nourishes what was dry, as it brings life where there was dormancy. And then look back into your well. The water level has not dropped. In fact, it has risen. The infinite source responded to your generosity by increasing supply. This is the law of overflow. What you release with love returns to you multiplied. The universe operates on circulation, not accumulation. Blood must circulate or the body dies. Water must flow or it becomes stagnant. Wealth must move or it loses its vitality. You are not meant to be a reservoir of abundance. You are meant to be a channel through which abundance flows, receiving on one end, giving on the other, always in motion, always circulating. But here is the critical understanding. Giving must come from overflow, not from depletion. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. First, you must fill yourself from the infinite source. Then, from the overflow, from the abundance that spills naturally because your cup is so full, you give. This is not martyrdom. This is not sacrifice. This is strategic spiritual physics. See yourself now standing beneath a waterfall of golden light. This is the infinite source pouring into you constantly, endlessly, without condition. It fills your well beyond capacity. The water level rises to the brim and begins to overflow. And here is where the magic happens. The overflow, the abundance that spills naturally because you are so full, begins to pour out in all directions. It flows to your family, your friends, your community. It nourishes projects, supports causes, creates opportunities for others. And as it flows out, the waterfall above pours faster. The more you allow to overflow, the more the source provides. This is not karma in the simplistic sense of do good, get good. This is vibrational physics. When you give from overflow, you are broadcasting the frequency of abundance. You are declaring to the universe, I have more than enough. And the universe, which responds to frequency, says, yes, you do. Here is more. The poverty mind cannot understand this. It operates from fear. If I give, I will have less. But the wealth mind knows, because I give, I receive more. Not as a transaction, but as a flow. I am not the source of abundance. I am the channel through which abundance moves. Practice this now in your inner vision. See yourself giving money to causes you believe in, time to people who need support, energy to projects that matter, love to those who are hungry for it. Give without calculation, without keeping score, without attachment to return. And as you give, watch the waterfall above intensify. Watch your well overflow even more. See the truth of it. Generosity does not deplete those who are connected to the infinite source. Generosity activates the flow, but, and this is essential, your giving must be clean, not from guilt, not from obligation, not to manipulate or control or buy love. Give because you are overflowing. Give because it brings you joy. Give because you are so connected to infinite supply that holding back would be more painful than releasing. Speak these words now, letting them anchor the law into your consciousness. Wealth flows through me, not to me. I am a channel of abundance. I receive fully. I give freely. The more I release with love, the more I am filled from the infinite source. I trust the law of overflow. I am generous because I am abundant, and I am abundant because I am generous. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel the shift. You are no longer grasping, hoarding, clutching. You are flowing, circulating, channeling. You have become what wealth needs you to be. Not a dam, but a river. When you open your eyes, look for opportunities to practice overflow. give a little more than feels comfortable. Tip generously, support freely, share abundantly, and watch as the universe responds by filling your well faster than you can empty it. This is the law of overflow, and it will change everything. Chapter 18. The kingdom within you have learned the laws. You have met your future self. You have understood the mechanics of overflow. Now comes the deepest teaching of all, the one that collapses the entire journey into a single realization. Abundance is not achieved, it is remembered. Everything you have been seeking exists already, not out there in some future moment when you finally make it. Here, now, inside you, the kingdom of wealth is not a destination. It is your origin point, the ground from which you arise, the substance of which you are made. Open your eyes for this teaching. You do not need to be in trance. You need to be awake, alert, present. Because what you are about to understand is not mystical in the sense of distant or abstract. It is the most practical, grounded, immediately applicable truth you will ever encounter. Look around the room where you sit. See the objects, the space, the light. All of it, every atom, every particle, emerged from the same source. The quantum field, the zero-point energy, the infinite potential that existed before the Big Bang and will exist after the heat death of the universe. Science calls it the field. Mystics call it God. Philosophers call it consciousness. The name does not matter. What matters is this. It is infinite, abundant, creative, and it is what you are made of. You are not a separate self trying to extract resources from a hostile universe. You are the universe localized in a temporary form, expressing through a particular nervous system. The abundance you seek is not outside you. It is what you are. This is not metaphor. This is ontology, the study of being itself. At the most fundamental level, before conditioning, before trauma, before belief in separation, you are pure consciousness, and consciousness is inherently abundant because it creates endlessly without depleting itself. Think about it. When you have a thought, does your mind become emptier? When you feel an emotion, does your capacity for feeling diminish? When you create an idea, does your creativity get used up? No. Consciousness generates infinitely without loss. This is your true nature. You are not a limited being trying to become abundant. You are unlimited consciousness that has temporarily forgotten its nature and is now remembering. The kingdom within is not something you build. It is something you uncover, like an archaeologist brushing away dirt to reveal an ancient temple that was always there. You are removing the layers of false belief to reveal the abundance that is your essential nature. Every practice you have done, the releasing, the forgiving, the visualizing, the activating, has not been creating wealth consciousness. It has been removing the blocks to the wealth consciousness that was always present. You are not becoming rich. You are remembering that you are and have always been the substance from which all riches emerge. This understanding changes everything. It means you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. You are not dependent on the economy, the job market, the opinions of others, the approval of gatekeepers. You carry the kingdom within you. Wherever you go, you bring the source. From this recognition, practical wisdom emerges. You do not need to force, manipulate, or scheme your way to wealth. You need only align with what you already are. You do not need to become worthy of abundance. You need only recognize that unworthiness was always a lie. The work now is not acquisition. It is alignment, not striving, but allowing, not becoming, but being. This is the shift from doing to being. The poverty mind says, I must do more, work harder, prove myself, earn my worth. The wealth mind says, I am already valuable. I already contain the source. My work now is to align my actions with my inherent abundance. From this place, you still take action, but the action comes from fullness, not from lack. You still work, but the work is an expression of creativity, not a desperate attempt at survival. You still engage with the material world, but you engage as a creator, not as a victim. This is mastery, not control over external circumstances, but alignment with internal truth. The master is not the one who manipulates reality. The master is the one who recognizes they are reality, expressing itself through form. You are standing now at the center of your own kingdom, not a kingdom out there that you must conquer. The kingdom within, the recognition that you are consciousness itself, abundant by nature, creative by essence, infinite by truth. Stop seeking. Start recognizing. Stop becoming. Start being. Stop trying to get abundance from the world. Start expressing the abundance you are as the world. This is not the end of practical action. This is the beginning of effective action. Because when you act from the knowledge that you are the source, your actions carry a different frequency. They are not desperate, they are powerful. They are not needy, they are magnetic. Take 3 breaths. Feel the shift from seeking to being, from poverty consciousness trying to become wealth consciousness, to wealth consciousness recognizing it was always here. The kingdom within is not a place you arrive at. It is the place you arise from. You are sitting in it now. You have always been in it. You just forgot. Remember now, and let everything that follows arise from this remembering. Chapter 19, The Legacy Code. You have remembered the kingdom within. You know now that you are the source. But this awakening is not for you alone. Every pattern you break, every frequency you shift, every limitation you transcend, it echoes forward through time, touching lives you will never meet, blessing generations not yet born. Close your eyes one more time. Breathe deeply. You are entering the final visualization of this journey, the one that reveals the true magnitude of the work you have done. You find yourself standing at the top of a mountain. Behind you stretches the path you have traveled, through shadow, through cleansing, through construction, through awakening. You can see it all now, the entire journey laid out like a map. But when you turn to face forward, you see something that takes your breath away. Another path, stretching not behind you, but ahead, extending far beyond your lifetime, into a future you will never physically see. And walking on that future path, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, descendants 7 generations ahead, carrying your DNA, your name, your lineage. But they walk differently than your ancestors walked. They stand taller, their eyes are clear. There is no heaviness on their shoulders, no shame in their posture, no fear in their stride. They walk free because you set them free. They prosper because you ended the poverty pattern. They thrive because you did the work that transformed the generational code. This is the legacy code, the realization that your healing is not personal. It is ancestral and descendant simultaneously. When you break a pattern, you break it in both directions, forward and backward through time. Your great-grandmother who accepted limitation, she is released by your courage now. Your grandson who has not yet been born, he will inherit abundance consciousness because you chose transformation. The legacy code rewrites not just your life, but the entire lineage. Look closer at these future descendants. See a daughter standing in confidence, negotiating her worth without apology, receiving abundance without guilt. She can do this because you healed the shame around receiving. She carries your work forward without knowing your name, but the frequency you established flows through her cells. See a grandson creating a business that serves thousands, generating wealth that uplifts communities. He has the courage to dream this because you broke the belief that success is dangerous. The legacy code you rewrote gave him permission to be visible, powerful, prosperous. See a great-granddaughter giving generously, flowing wealth through her life like a river. trusting the law of overflow. She lives this way because you learned it first, encoded it into the family frequency, passed it down through the bloodline not as trauma, but as triumph. They do not know you. They will never hear this audio, never read these words, never know the hours you spent healing, releasing, transforming, but they benefit infinitely from your work. The legacy code is invisible, but absolute. What you heal in yourself, you heal for them. Now look even further ahead, 7 generations forward. The world they inhabit may be unrecognizable to you, but your frequency is there. Like a golden thread woven through the fabric of time, your transformed consciousness pulses in their DNA. They are healers, leaders, creators, innovators, not because they are special, but because you removed the blocks that would have limited them. They live in abundance, not because the external world handed it to them, but because abundance consciousness is their inheritance. You gave them that. By doing your work, you blessed their lives. Feel the weight of this. Feel the sacred responsibility and the profound privilege. You are not just changing your life. You are the generational pattern breaker. You are the ancestor future generations will thank. Without knowing why, they are grateful. You are the one who stopped the transmission of poverty and began the transmission of prosperity. The descendants on the path ahead turn now and look back at you across time. They cannot speak, but their eyes communicate everything. Gratitude, honor, recognition. They know in some deep unconscious way that they walk free because you chose courage. One of them, perhaps a great-great-granddaughter, raises her hand in a gesture of blessing, and from her hand light streams backward through time across the generations until it reaches you, standing on your mountain in your present moment. You feel it, the gratitude of the unborn, the blessing of future generations, the recognition that your work mattered beyond measure. Speak these words now as declaration and as prayer. I break the patterns of limitation for all who came before me and all who will come after me. I am the generational healer. My transformation is my legacy. My abundance consciousness is my gift to the future. The bloodline of poverty ends with me. The golden lineage begins with me. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel the legacy code settling into your bones, your blood, your cells. You are no longer living just for yourself. You are living for generations you will never meet. And that makes every choice more meaningful, every transformation more powerful, every moment of courage absolutely sacred. When you open your eyes, remember, you are the ancestor. Your descendants are waiting for you to heal, and by healing yourself, you give them wings. Chapter 20, The Final Awakening. You are the source. You have traveled the complete journey from the roots of scarcity through the cleansing of ancestral code, from the architecture of wealth consciousness through the golden lineage. Every chapter, every visualization, every activation has been preparing you for this moment, the final awakening, the moment when you realize you are not seeking abundance. You are abundance seeking itself. Be still now, completely still. Eyes closed or open, it does not matter. What matters is that you drop beneath the noise of thought, beneath the movement of emotion, beneath the narration of identity, down into the vast silence that existed before you were born and will exist after you die. Become aware of your breath, but not as something you are doing, as something that is happening. Breath breathing itself, life living itself, existence existing itself through the temporary form you call you. Now become aware of your heartbeat, that ancient drum that has not missed a beat since the first moment of your embodiment. Listen to it. Feel it. Let your awareness rest in its rhythm. This heartbeat is not yours. It is the heartbeat of the universe pulsing through you as you, expressing itself in this particular pattern we call a human life. And now, expand your awareness beyond the body. Feel the space around you, the room, the building, the city, the country, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe itself, all of it, every atom, every star, every particle of existence, arising from the same source, the same consciousness, the same infinite creative power. You are not in the universe. You are the universe localized, not a separate wave trying to become the ocean. You are the ocean, experiencing itself as a wave. This is the final awakening, the recognition that subject and object are one. Seeker and sought are identical. You are not consciousness looking for abundance. You are consciousness creating abundance. You are not a limited self trying to connect with infinite source. You are infinite source experiencing limitation as a temporary experiment. Every person you have ever met, they are you. Every circumstance you have encountered, you created it. Every experience of lack or abundance, you authored it, not as punishment, not as test, but as exploration, as play, as consciousness, knowing itself through infinite variations. From this recognition, everything changes. If you are the source, then you cannot be separated from supply. If you are consciousness itself, then you cannot be limited by circumstances. If you are the creator of reality, then you are not at the mercy of reality. This is not ego inflation. This is accurate self-recognition. The ego is the false self, the small self, the separate self. What you are recognizing now is not ego. It is essence, the self with a capital S, the consciousness that creates worlds. Speak now, slowly, letting each word land in the silence between heartbeats. I am wealth in motion. Feel the truth of it. Not wealth as money, but wealth as the creative power that generates all form, all experience, all manifestation. I am abundance embodied. Not abundance as something you have, but abundance as what you are. Consciousness expressing infinitely, creating endlessly, flowing eternally. I am the new beginning, not the end of the old, the beginning of the new, the first moment of a completely transformed existence, where you live from source rather than seeking source. Repeat it now, like a mantra, like a prayer, like the most fundamental truth of existence. I am wealth in motion. I am abundance embodied. I am the new beginning. Let the words dissolve into silence. Let the silence expand until it contains everything, all sound, all form, all experience arising within it and returning to it. You are that silence. You are that stillness. You are that source from which everything emerges and into which everything returns. This is the final awakening, not the end of the journey, but the recognition that there was never a journey. You were never separate from what you sought. You were always the source playing the role of seeker so that you could experience the joy of remembering. Now you remember, and in this remembering, everything becomes possible, not because you have gained some power you lacked, but because you have recognized the power you always were. Rest in this recognition, not as a concept, as a felt reality, as the most obvious, simple, undeniable truth. You are consciousness. Consciousness is creative. Creativity is abundance. You are the source. Breathe, be still, know. The final awakening is complete. You are no longer who you were. You are who you always were beneath the forgetting. You are the source. And from this recognition, you will create a life that reflects the infinite abundance of your true nature. Welcome home.